Hello everyone, I'm Eric Cuesta, and welcome to a special one-on-one edition of Coral Gables Television. The COVID-19 outbreak, it's forcing emergency responders to really rethink the way they do their job. They're taking more precautions and implementing new protocols. For that, and for the Coral Gables residents to understand what's going on, we have a very special guest today. The City of Coral Gables Fire Department, Chief Marcos de la Rosa. Chief, welcome and thank you for your precious time.
Thank you for having us.
Great. And as you're noticing, we're keeping that
yes, we are.
That distance that we have to keep.
Yes, we're leading by example.
Exactly. Now let's go straight to the first question, and that is something that I'm sure that the residents are very concerned about. How are the phone calls or the emergency calls being handled during this pandemic?
So they're being handled very effectively. It's interesting that the fire department has always had a pandemic or infectious disease protocol. So when you dial 911, and this is a very good point to bring up for any emergency, we ask you a lot of questions, and those questions are to best determine what level your emergency is and how we can respond to it. But that doesn't mean that there's a delay in our response. So as someone is asking you questions, at the same time, emergency units are being dispatched to your house. So specifically when it comes to COVID-19, we're asking about the presence of fever and the presence of flu-like symptoms, and whether you've traveled. And that's for you or anyone in your household, because anyone in our household could infect not only you, but also our crews. So those questions are being asked, that information is being transmitted to our units, and we'll arrive with the proper protection, which in this time you've noticed that we're gonna get there with a gown, we're gonna get there with a mask, we're gonna get there with the goggles, and we ask you not to be fearful of that. It looks different than the way we would normally respond to your house, but that's for your protection as well as our firefighters.
Now, of course, the calls have changed, the way that they're handled, but also you're following the guidelines of the CDC and the State Health Department to ensure that not only the residents, but also your personnel is safe and to safeguard their health. Now, what are the new protocols in place for your responders, for your first responders?
So as I just alluded to, all our firefighters are following strict guidelines from the CDC and the Florida Department of Health. So that means that we're going to your house, and if you say that your emergency involves flu-like symptoms or a fever, then our firefighters are wearing goggles, they're wearing a mask, they're wearing gloves, and they're wearing a gown. And as we all know, CDC has been advising us that this particular virus is a droplet. So all the protection that we have is to protect ourselves from cough or that 6-foot distance that we really can't achieve if we're treating your emergency. So those are the protections that we're wearing.
Now, is there a special protocol for the units themselves, for the equipment inside the unit, of course, to be taken care of and not be infected with the virus?
Absolutely. So the inside of that truck is our emergency room. It's the emergency room for the citizens of Coral Gables. So not only do we want to make sure that it protects our firefighters, but also every patient that rides in that truck. So every day, our vehicles are decontaminated and all our equipment is decontaminated. Once a week, it receives a specialized decontamination system where the truck is mist with a special solution. And after every call of a COVID-19 or suspected COVID-19, that truck is placed out of service and completely decontaminated. So that is one of the cleanest medical facilities you will find on wheels.
Now, as head of the department, of course, you must be very confident about your protocols and all the measures that you're putting in to safeguard the health of the residents and your staff. But I want to ask you this: how confident really are you and express it about all these protocols and measures?
I am very confident. We have very professional, well-educated, well-prepared firefighter and paramedics. Before the COVID epidemic, they were in that manner, and they're even more now. Every CDC guideline that comes up, and this is an ever-evolving situation, we're updating them. Not only are we updating them on a daily basis if we have to, but on a weekly basis, I am communicating with every firefighter in our city as to what's going on and what we should be doing. The same goes for our residents. Everything that we are directing them and asking them to do, everything that our firefighters is doing and the manner in which they are handling a call is strict CDC guidelines and the guidelines of the Florida Department of Health.
Now, if you had to mention three important things, three important facts that people need to follow and understand to prevent the spread of the virus, which one of those three would it be?
I'll ask you for four. 1, stay home. 2, wash your hands and your surfaces. 3, stay away and maintain your distance. And the fourth one is save your hugs for your grandparents till after we get past this. That is our most vulnerable population. Our concentration, our biggest focus is on our elderly. So I ask all our citizens to follow those 4 rules. Stay home, wash your hands and the areas around your house, maintain safe distances, and save your hugs and kisses of your grandparents till later.
Well, that fourth one, it was a great gift for all of us, and I'm sure that our residents will appreciate that. Now, thank you so much, Chief, for being here, Marcos de la Rosa. So for all of you out there, just make sure that to stay informed on our website, coralgables.com. And it is important to understand that all of these measures and protocols are going to be in place until CDC and, of course, the Health Department announces a new update. So stay tuned to our programming. I'm Eric Cuesta. Till next time, and stay safe.